SUVs dominate US roads. They look tough, promise safety, and are marketed as the perfect choice for families and retirees. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Not all SUVs deliver what they promise. Some are flashy scams, hiding weak engines, fragile transmissions, and jaw-dropping repair bills behind shiny exteriors and clever advertising. Some of these vehicles were bestsellers, others carried luxury badges. But no matter the price or popularity, owners across America ended up frustrated, stranded, and broke. From cheap crossovers that fall apart in just a few years to high-end SUVs that spend more time in the shop than on the road, these vehicles are a stark reminder. Looks can be deceiving, and a badge doesn't guarantee reliability. Buckle up. The SUVs on this list might be closer to you than you think. Number 14, Range Rover, 2010 to 2018. Few SUVs carry as much prestige as the Range Rover. Celebrities drove them, executives flaunted them, and regular buyers dreamed of owning one. It promised unmatched luxury, off-road pedigree, and a status symbol that turned heads everywhere. But for thousands of American owners, that dream turned into a nightmare. The biggest problem? The air suspension system. Marketed as high-tech comfort, it frequently collapsed without warning, leaving owners with a $6,000 to $8,000 repair bill. And often, the problem happened more than once. Engines were no better. The 5.0-liter V8 suffered from timing chain failures, supercharger breakdowns, and coolant leaks that cost well over $10,000 to fix. Electronics were an even bigger joke. Infotainment systems froze, warning lights popped up randomly, and even basic features like power windows and locks gave up early. For an SUV that cost over $90,000 new, the build quality was shockingly poor. Resale values cratered, with used models selling for $25,000 or less. But those so-called bargains usually became financial traps, costing more in repairs than the purchase price. The Range Rover was marketed as the best SUV in the world. In reality, it became the poster child for scam luxury. Beautiful on the outside, but a nightmare to own. Number 13, Toyota Land Cruiser, J200 Series, 2008 to 2021. If there's one SUV that has built its reputation on going absolutely anywhere and lasting almost forever, it's the Toyota Land Cruiser J200. This beast wasn't just a luxury family hauler. It was engineered to survive deserts, mountains, and everything in between. Under the hood, most US models came with a 5.7-liter V8, producing 381 horsepower, paired with a 6-speed automatic and full-time 4-wheel drive. Sounds simple, right? That's the magic. Toyota stuck with proven, overbuilt components rather than chasing trends. Owners regularly report these trucks crossing 250,000 miles with nothing more than routine maintenance, and some examples have gone well past 400,000. The body-on-frame construction, bulletproof driveline, and advanced off-road systems like crawl control made it equally at home pulling a horse trailer or tackling a Colorado trail. Of course, all that reliability didn't come cheap. Brand new, the Land Cruiser was one of Toyota's most expensive models, and fuel economy barely cracked the mid-teens. But buyers didn't care. They were investing in peace of mind, and the proof is in today's used market. Even older models with high mileage command shockingly high resale values. Simply put, the Land Cruiser J200 wasn't just transportation. It was Toyota's way of saying, here's a truck you'll hand down to your kids and it'll still be running strong. Number 12, Jeep Grand Cherokee WK2 2011 to 2021. The Jeep Grand Cherokee WK2 is a perfect example of a vehicle caught between two worlds. On one hand, it promised luxury, comfort, and cutting-edge tech. On the other, it carried Jeep's rugged DNA and the expectation that it could handle trails as well as city streets. For a while, it did both. But long-term reliability? That's where the cracks started to show. The WK2 offered plenty of choices under the hood, from a solid 3.6-liter Pentaster 5.6 to a torque-rich 5.7-liter Hemi Vi8, and even a 3.0-liter Eco Diesel for buyers chasing fuel economy. Performance and capability were never the issue. The real trouble came with electronics, air suspension, and transmission gremlins that left many owners frustrated. Repair costs piled up quickly, and reliability scores from outlets like JD Power often put the Grand Cherokee below the segment average. But here's the twist. Despite the headaches, the WK2 still built a loyal following. Why? Because when it worked, it was fantastic. The ride was smooth, the cabin felt upscale, and the off-road systems were among the best in class. For buyers who prioritize capability over bulletproof reliability, it was worth the gamble. Today, used WK2 models can be found at tempting prices, but smart buyers know to tread carefully. A well-maintained one can be a bargain SUV, but neglect or poor maintenance history can turn ownership into a money pit. Number 11. Ford Explorer, 5th generation 2011 to 2019. The Ford Explorer is one of America's best-selling SUVs, but the 5th generation model proved that popularity doesn't always equal perfection. On paper, it looked like a winner. 3 rows of seating, family-friendly tech, and a range of engines that promised both power and efficiency. In reality, ownership was a mixed bag. The base 2.0-liter EcoBoost sounded good for fuel economy, but it often felt underpowered for such a heavy SUV. The available V6 and turbocharged 3.5-liter EcoBoost packed more punch, yet they brought along higher repair costs. Transmission complaints were common, with some owners reporting rough shifting or outright failures. Add in issues with the MyFord Touch infotainment system, which was notoriously glitchy in its early years, and reliability ratings suffered. Despite all that, the Explorer sold in massive numbers. Families loved its roomy cabin, available all-wheel drive, and towing capability. Safety scores were solid, and when everything worked, it delivered the comfort and versatility drivers expected from a mid-size SUV. But the truth is, maintenance could get expensive fast. Today, used examples from this generation can be a gamble. Some run smoothly for years with proper care, while others drain wallets with repeated trips to the mechanic. For buyers, it's all about finding one with a clean history and thorough service records. Otherwise, the Explorer nameplate might explore more of your bank account than you'd like. Number 10. Chevrolet Equinox, 2nd generation, 2010 to 2017. The Chevrolet Equinox promised to be GM's answer to the Honda CR-V and Toyota RAV4. Sleek styling, roomy interiors, and affordable pricing for families. On the surface, it checked all the boxes, but for many owners of the 2010 to 2017 models, it turned into a financial headache that felt more like a trap than a reliable SUV. The 2.4-liter 4-cylinder engine was infamous for excessive oil consumption. Many drivers found themselves topping off a quart of oil every 1,000 miles or less, and in severe cases, engines failed entirely before hitting 100,000 miles. Repairs weren't cheap. Full engine replacements could run $4,000 to $6,000, and the V6 wasn't immune either, with timing chain issues causing catastrophic engine damage in some cases. Transmission problems added another layer of frustration. Owners reported slipping, hard shifts, and premature failures that often required costly rebuilds. Electronics weren't much better. Infotainment glitches, power window failures, and stalling became recurring complaints. Fuel economy, heavily advertised by GM, rarely lived up to expectations once the SUV aged, and resale values collapsed as word spread about reliability woes. What looked like a practical, family-friendly option ended up becoming a recurring expense for many US buyers. Despite its sleek looks and practical image, the Equinox's combination of engine, transmission, and electrical issues made it one of the most widely regretted purchases in its segment. It's a perfect example of how a popular SUV can still be a complete scam in disguise. Number 9. Nissan Rogue, 2014 to 2019. The Nissan Rogue is everywhere on American roads. One of the best-selling compact SUVs of its generation, but popularity doesn't always mean reliability. For many owners of the 2014 to 2019 models, the Rogue became a wallet-draining headache rather than a dependable family SUV. The primary culprit, Nissan's CVT transmission. These continuously variable transmissions were notorious for overheating, shuddering, and sometimes failing completely. Many Rogues needed replacements as early as 60,000 miles, with repair costs ranging from $3,500 to $5,000. Nissan tried to mitigate the damage with extended warranties, but for US buyers, the financial pain was already real. Engines weren't trouble-free either. The 2.5-liter 4-cylinder often suffered from oil consumption, timing chain wear, and even head gasket failures in extreme cases. Layer in a cheap-feeling interior, glitchy infotainment systems, and electronics prone to malfunction, and you had a compact SUV that felt felt fragile from the ground up. Performance was another disappointment. Despite its adventurous name, the Rogue was slow, noisy, and underpowered, making highway driving a chore. And safety tech like backup cameras or sensors, which were selling points in ads, often malfunctioned, leaving families frustrated. What made the Rogue feel like a scam was the contrast between marketing and reality. Nissan showed happy families exploring the outdoors, but many owners were stuck in service bays. For a vehicle that sold in massive numbers, it became one of the most widely regretted purchases in the US SUV market. Number 8. Dodge Journey, 2009 to 2020. The Dodge Journey is a rare case in the SUV world, not because it was great, but because it somehow stayed in production for over a decade without a meaningful update. Introduced as Dodge's affordable midsize family SUV, it promised practicality and value. In reality, it became one of the most outdated and frustrating vehicles on American roads. The biggest problem? Dodge simply didn't invest in it. While competitors like Toyota, Honda, and Ford kept innovating, the Journey stuck with ancient platforms, outdated 4-speed automatics, and underpowered engines. The base 2.4-liter 4-cylinder struggled to move its hefty frame, and the optional V6 guzzled fuel while still delivering modest performance. Reliability was abysmal. Electrical failures, weak brakes, and constant air conditioning issues were commonplace. Both 4-speed and 6-speed automatic transmissions were prone to problems, often requiring $3,000 to $4,500 in repairs. Safety was another glaring weakness. Poor crash test results and minimal modern safety tech left families exposed. Inside, the interior felt cheap, plastics cracked, trim peeled, and the third-row seating was virtually unusable for adults. Yet despite all these flaws, Dodge marketed it as a modern, family-friendly SUV. Many buyers, especially those shopping rental fleets, unknowingly bought into a vehicle that felt years behind its competition. For US families, the Journey was a scam in the purest sense. A vehicle that looked like a reliable choice but delivered outdated engineering, endless repairs, and disappointment. It's a stark reminder that flashy advertising can hide years of neglect in product development. Number 7. Mitsubishi Outlander, 2007 to 2014. The Mitsubishi Outlander tried to stand out in a crowded SUV market with 7-passenger seating, affordable pricing, and the promise of Japanese reliability. But the 2007 to 2014 generation proved why Mitsubishi struggled so much in the US SUV segment. It was a vehicle that looked competent on paper, but delivered disappointment in every key area. The most glaring problem was build quality. Inside, the Outlander felt cheap from day one. Flimsy plastics, uncomfortable seats, and rattling panels were common complaints. Electronics were no better, with infotainment systems glitching and buttons failing far too early. Even basic components like door handles and switches often wore out quickly. Engines weren't immune either. The 2.4-liter 4-cylinder felt sluggish and noisy, while the optional V6 suffered from timing belt issues, oil leaks, and other persistent mechanical problems. Transmission choices, particularly CVTs, were prone to slipping and early failure, often leading to repair bills of $3,000 to $5,000 before the car hit 100,000 miles. Safety also lagged behind competitors. Crash test scores were mediocre, and advanced features like stability control and airbags weren't consistently up to par. Resale value collapsed fast, leaving owners struggling to recover even a fraction of what they paid. The Outlander wasn't just disappointing, it was a textbook example of a hidden SUV scam. Buyers thought they were getting affordable, dependable Japanese engineering, but in reality, they were saddled with a vehicle that aged poorly, required frequent repairs, and delivered a frustrating ownership experience. Number 6. Cadillac SRX, 2010 to 2016. The Cadillac SRX looked like a smart choice for American buyers craving luxury without jumping into German price territory. Sharp design, upscale interiors, and a recognizable badge promised prestige and comfort. But behind the gleaming exterior, the SRX quietly became one of Cadillac's most notorious money pits. The 3.6-liter V6 engine was prone to timing chain failures. When the chain stretched or broke, catastrophic engine damage wasn't far behind, with repair bills ranging from $3,500 to $6,000, sometimes requiring a full engine replacement. The 6-speed automatic transmission didn't inspire confidence either, frequently shifting roughly or failing outright, adding another $3,000 to $4,500 in repair costs. The SRX's all-wheel drive system and transfer case were also trouble spots. Owners reported sudden malfunctions that could leave the SUV undrivable and costly to fix. Electronics compounded the headaches. Infotainment freezes, sensor failures, and power liftgate problems were all too common. Even the interior, which looked luxurious at first glance, didn't age gracefully. Leather cracked, trim pieces peeled, and plastics wore down faster than expected. For buyers who thought they were getting a durable luxury SUV, ownership quickly felt like a financial trap. The SRX is a perfect example of a scam disguised as a bargain. Cadillac marketed it as a reliable alternative to BMW or Lexus, but owners often ended up spending thousands in repairs, sometimes rivaling the cost of the very vehicles they hoped to avoid. For US buyers seeking prestige, it was a hard lesson. Shiny badges don't guarantee peace of mind. Number 5. GMC Acadia 2007 to 2016. The GMC Acadia was marketed as a practical, professional-grade family SUV. 3 rows of seating, strong towing capacity, and a premium brand badge made it look like a solid alternative to minivans or competing midsize SUVs. But in reality, it quickly earned a reputation as one of GM's most problematic vehicles of its era. The biggest issue was the 3.6-liter V6 engine. Timing chain failures were common, causing rough running, stalling, or even total engine failure. Replacing a chain often meant pulling the engine, with repair bills hitting $4,000 to $6,000. Transmissions weren't much better. 6-speed automatics frequently slipped, shuttered, or failed completely, adding another $3,500 to $5,000 to the growing list of problems. Cooling system failures, water pumps, radiators, and thermostats led to overheating and further engine stress. Steering problems, including premature power steering pump failures, were also reported. Inside, owners faced peeling trim, malfunctioning electronics, and early wear that made the cabin feel far less premium than advertised. Despite GMC's marketing of professional-grade reliability, the Acadia often struggled with basic commuting without major repairs. For US buyers, it was a false promise, a rugged, capable SUV on paper, but a potential money pit in real life. The Acadia is a cautionary tale that flashy branding and features don't always translate to long-term durability. For families seeking a dependable midsize SUV, it was more gamble than guarantee. Number 4. Hyundai Santa Fe 2013 to 2017. 2.4-liter engine. Hyundai's rise in the US SUV market seemed unstoppable in the 2000s. The Santa Fe looked like the perfect midsize family SUV. Stylish, affordable, loaded with tech, and backed by Hyundai's famous warranty. But the 2013 to 2017 Santa Fe with the 2.4-liter engine hit a catastrophic flaw that turned many owners' dreams into a nightmare. The engine was the biggest culprit. Excessive wear, oil consumption, and premature seizure left thousands of drivers stranded on highways. Full engine replacements were often necessary, running $5,000 to $7,000 if recalls or warranty coverage didn't apply. Even those lucky enough to get a replacement sometimes experienced repeat failures. Transmission hesitation, failing steering racks, and random electrical glitches added to the misery. Owners reported unresponsive throttles, infotainment crashes, and general unreliability that clashed with Hyundai's image of affordable dependability. Fuel economy, which Hyundai heavily advertised, also fell short in real-world conditions once the SUV aged. Resale value plummeted, leaving US buyers stuck with a vehicle that cost far more than anticipated in repairs and maintenance. For families looking for a safe, practical, and reliable SUV, the Santa Fe felt like a bait and switch. Hyundai marketed peace of mind, but many owners experienced stress, unexpected bills, and endless trips to the shop. The 2.4-liter Santa Fe is a textbook example of how even a brand on the rise can hide serious flaws under an attractive exterior. Looks, features, and warranty promises couldn't mask the underlying reliability issues. Number 3. Infiniti QX56/QX80 2011 to 2017. The Infiniti QX56/QX80 looked like the ultimate luxury SUV. Big, bold, and dripping with chrome. Plush interiors, powerful V8 engines, and a badge that promised prestige made it an appealing choice for American families who wanted more than a standard SUV. But beneath the luxury veneer lurked a series of reliability nightmares. Brakes were one of the earliest headaches. Premature wear, warped rotors, and even total brake booster failures became all too common, with repair bills ranging from $2,000 to $3,500, sometimes multiple times during ownership. The transmission wasn't far behind. Hard shifts, slipping, and premature failures were frequent, with replacements costing $4,000 to $6,000. Even routine towing or driving could trigger overheating and breakdowns. Engines, too, carried their share of problems. The 5.6-liter V8 suffered from timing chain wear, oil consumption, and leaking gaskets, each repair running into the thousands. Electronics added insult to injury. Navigation, power lift gates, and infotainment systems frequently failed, leaving owners frustrated and out of pocket. Combine all that with terrible fuel economy, and the QX56/QX80 turned a luxurious ride into a constant financial drain. What buyers thought would deliver Japanese reliability wrapped in premium comfort often felt like a money pit. For US owners, the Infiniti QX56/QX80 was the definition of a hidden scam. Luxury branding masking an SUV that spent more time in the shop than on the road. Number 2. BMW X5, 2011 to 2014 N63 engine. The BMW X5 has long been a symbol of sporty luxury in the US SUV market. Premium interiors, precise handling, and that coveted BMW badge made it irresistible to many buyers. But for those who chose the 2011 to 2014 X5 with the N63 twin-turbo V8, the reality was a financial nightmare. The N63 engine gained notoriety for extreme oil consumption. BMW even offered a special customer care program for free oil top-offs, but that barely scratched the surface. Engines often required full rebuilds or replacements, with repair bills ranging from $10,000 to $15,000. Timing chain issues were another major headache, leading to catastrophic failures that cost $7,000 to $9,000 to fix. The twin turbos themselves weren't bulletproof either. Heat-related failures meant replacements could run $6,000 to $9,000. Beyond the engine, owners faced air suspension problems, leaking cooling systems, and constant electrical gremlins. Even high-end features like panoramic sunroofs and infotainment systems were prone to failure. With every repair costing thousands, resale values plummeted. A $70,000 new X5 could sell for under $15,000 in just a few years, reflecting the nightmare hidden beneath the badge. What makes the X5 a scam isn't just the repair costs, it's the illusion of precision engineering. Buyers expected German reliability wrapped in sporty luxury, but instead faced relentless maintenance bills and unpredictability. For American owners, this X5 became a cautionary tale. Luxury and performance don't always come with peace of mind. Number 1. Land Rover Discovery, 2015 to 2019. The Land Rover Discovery has always carried an air of prestige, adventurous styling, and luxury. On the surface, it looked like the perfect SUV for well-off American families. But behind the image was one of the most unreliable SUVs of its era, making it the ultimate scam. Electrical failures plagued owners constantly, from faulty sensors to glitchy infotainment systems. Even simple components like window switches and door locks often failed. The 3.0-liter supercharged V6 burned oil, suffered timing chain wear, and coolant leaks, with repairs often costing $5,000 to $8,000. The air suspension, designed for smooth, adjustable rides and off-road adaptability, frequently collapsed, leaving owners stranded. Repair bills for the suspension alone often exceeded $6,000, and multiple replacements were not uncommon. Resale value collapsed quickly. A Discovery that cost $60,000 new could lose more than half its value in just a few years because buyers knew how unreliable it was. For many Americans, purchasing a Discovery felt like being scammed by luxury branding. It looked like $1 million but behaved like a clunker. The Land Rover Discovery earns its spot at number 1 because it perfectly illustrates how a premium badge and flashy features can hide relentless repair costs and endless frustration. For owners, it became the ultimate warning. Luxury doesn't always equal reliability. And there you have it. SUVs that promised everything but delivered headaches, sky-high repair bills, and buyer's remorse. From budget-friendly crossovers that fell apart in a few years to luxury SUVs that spent more time in the shop than on the road, these vehicles prove one thing: a shiny exterior doesn't guarantee reliability. Have you ever owned one of these problem SUVs? Or maybe you know someone who did? Share your stories in the comments. We love hearing real-world experiences. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more automotive deep dives, tips, and honest reviews every week. And if you want to see SUVs that actually never break down, check out our video, 20 cheap SUVs that simply never break down under $15,000. Buckle up, your next car purchase just got a little safer.